They called her Spectre. The nickname wasn't given lightly. In the world of special operations, where reputations are earned in blood and silence, she was known as the ghost who could strike from nowhere and disappear without a trace. She wasn't the loudest, wasn't the biggest, and rarely spoke unless it mattered. But when she put her eye to the glass of a rifle scope, there was no target in the world safe from her. That was why she was on this mission in the first place. The year was 2011, deep in the jagged mountains of eastern Afghanistan. Intelligence had tracked 3 enemy generals, high-value leaders who directed ambushes, planned bombings, and kept the insurgency alive. For months, they had operated separately, always careful never to gather in the same place at once. But now fate had aligned. They were meeting in a fortified compound, planning the next wave of attacks. If they could be eliminated tonight, it would change the war in this valley forever. The brass knew it. The operators knew it. Everyone wanted it done. The problem was distance. The generals were holed up more than 2 kilometers away, with rough terrain, unpredictable mountain winds, and a curtain of guards between them and any assault team. A missile strike would be too risky. Collateral damage would inflame the region even worse. It had to be clean, surgical, but the distance was obscene. No one on the team believed a sniper could pull it off. During the briefing, Commander Harlow leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, and said flatly, "No one can make that shot." The room was silent. And then from the back came a quiet, steady voice. "Give me the coordinates." It was Elena Marquez, Spectre. That night, under cover of darkness, the SEAL team moved into position. The air was thin and sharp, every step across loose shale echoing in their ears even though no one else could hear. The stars above looked close enough to touch, and the valley below was black, except for the faint glimmer of light from the compound where the 3 generals gathered. Spectre carried her custom-modified .338 Lapua Magnum rifle, tuned for extreme range. Every adjustment screw, every lens of glass had been inspected, tested, and trusted. Her spotter, a young operator named Vickers, carried the range card and the doubts everyone else was thinking, but not saying. When they reached their perch on the cliff edge, the world seemed to stop. The compound sat in the distance, heavily guarded, but from this angle the sniper had a perfect view into one of the upper rooms where the enemy commanders were gathered. Vickers whispered, "No way this works." Spectre didn't reply. She was already lying prone, steadying the rifle on its bipod, breathing in rhythm with the wind. Through the scope, she could see them. 3 men in uniform, hunched over a table, studying maps under dim light. They were laughing, pointing, plotting. Around them, guards smoked and shifted lazily, unaware that death had already written their names. She slowed her breathing, counting each exhale. The crosshairs hovered, then stilled. Her mind was quiet now. She calculated everything. 2,137 meters, thin mountain air, gusting crosswinds. She dialed 43.7 MOA on her elevation turret, corrected for wind with another 9.4 clicks left. At this range, the bullet would be in the air for more than 3 seconds, an eternity in combat. She had 1 chance per target. Her finger brushed the trigger. The rifle barked, the sound swallowed by a suppressor in the vast emptiness of the mountains. She never saw the first general drop. She only saw the scope jump, then settle. Inside the room, chaos erupted. The man had collapsed forward, lifeless, onto the map table. Guards spun around in confusion. The second general stood up, shouting orders. Her finger squeezed again. The crack echoed. His skull snapped back and he was dead before he hit the ground. The third general bolted for the door. She tracked him calmly, breathing once more, timing the sway of his movement with the rhythm of her own chest. Crack. He fell mid-stride, crumpling to the floor. 3 generals. 3 shots, 3 head strikes. The entire engagement had lasted less than 8 seconds. Below, the compound descended into chaos. Guards screamed, firing wildly into the night, spraying rounds into the mountains, hitting nothing but shadows. By the time they tried to coordinate, Spectre and her team were already gone, slipping back over the ridgeline like phantoms. They moved silently through the night, never once looking back. Hours later, back at base, the team removed their gear in silence. Commander Harlow stood waiting, arms folded, staring at her. He didn't speak at first. He just shook his head, disbelief in his eyes. Finally, he muttered, "Damn, you made the shot." She met his gaze without flinching. "No, Commander," she corrected him. I made 3. In the days that followed, the insurgency in that valley collapsed. Without its leadership, the fighters scattered, their operations shattered. The mission was never reported publicly, never spoken of outside the teams that knew. But inside the quiet halls of special operations, a legend was born. They called her Spectre, not just because she killed like a ghost, but because she reminded everyone of one truth. When the world says a shot is impossible, there is always someone who can prove them wrong.